Hello, 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 everybody. It is your baby boomer, Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. Looking disheveled. Oh my goodness, y'all. I recently asked you all to submit a list of things that you commonly lose as a crocheter or crafter. Y'all, I can't find I can't find my hook. OMG. Now you can see all the way through this, right? And I'm manipulating it like I can't. And we have or we designate places for these things to go. I can find the 6.5. That's not a problem. I don't need the 6.5 right now. Okay, that's my snack. I need excuse me. I need the 6.0. That's what I need. I don't mean to make you all dizzy. I'm sorry. Hey, sis, how are you? I'm so happy you're here. Tell me where my hook is. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I think I'm satisfied that it's not in there. Hey, y'all. How am I? I'm perplexed. I really cannot find my crochet hook. Oh, I found my crochet hook. I'm as happy right now. How is everybody doing? Welcome in the den. Grr. Oh wow. I know why everybody wonders why I call it the den. Because I am kidding. Okay? And you all are my pride. And my pride lives in the den. You know, the lions have prides and their prides. But when they group them together, it's called a den of lions. Yeah, see? That's why I call y'all my kittens. I told y'all from the very beginning, there is always a method to my madness. Even having this hot scarf around my neck. So we're going to start with the sips and whips. Of course, you know, I have my great value French roast, extra strong coffee with my pinch of salt, my drip of vanilla, and today we only have caramel macchiato creamer. We have 10 ounces of that. We also have 18 ounces of coffee. When I cut back on coffee on creamer yesterday, I cut back a little too much too soon, but I toughed it out. I did. I toughed it out. Ooh, that feels so much better. That air feels good. Ooh, y'all. This, who remembers this? I had a whole different background when I started this in February of this year. This is an extra wide, extra long knitted scarf. When I finish this, it'll be my first complete make. Um, and actually, I'm on my last color. I'm gonna crochet. Woo. I'm gonna knit this ball out, And that's going to be it for this. And the problem, why it's so long, you ask? Because I don't know how to cast off. Yes, I don't know how to cast off. I got the knitting and purling down, and there are several mistakes throughout here. They really are. And my daughter has already claimed it. She's like, Mom, I want that. And I'm like, I'm going to remake it after I do it so I'll know how much. She goes, No, I want it just like it is, mistakes and all. That'll be your first completed piece, and that's going to be mine. And I feel like since we are in fall and she's anemic and she's going to need the extra protection, I'm going to make this for my baby. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a blue one, probably in like the teal or the aqua color, because with her working at Amazon, it'll go perfect with her uniform and it'll be something better made than this because I will have had a little more experience. I'm looking at where the mistakes were made, and they're much further down, more in the beginning. The problem I have now is trying to figure out where I keep adding a stitch. I don't know. And then whatever I was doing for the edging, it stopped yesterday. That's why I shouldn't have put it down for so long. Because see how this side is bowing out? My daughter said, and I'm like, okay. So we're going to correct that. Somehow I went from 60 to 66 stitches. So we're gonna start bringing that back in, and we're gonna work on that a little more today. I worked on this a little bit last night and a little bit today. I'm gonna jump to the finished objects. I have not finished anything since the last two projects that I showed you. I haven't even made a washcloth. But what I did do, I worked on this one a little more, got it to be a little bit wider, and you can definitely see where I'm bringing it in. So I added one, two, three. I added four more rows to this one. Y'all, I got up this morning. I went to the store, had to go twice because I didn't get everything that I needed. And remember, you are the designer, so it's just the way you make it. And that is fine. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sis. But I got up this morning and I went to the store. Like I said, I had to go twice. The second time I lost a product on the way back home. I went and got some Lunchables. I got the Lunchables the first time, but I didn't get the right kind. They would be eaten, but I didn't get what everybody wanted today. So I had to go back and get some more. And I got the little dollar ones. And on the way back home, I hit a bump and it jumped out of the basket. And before I realized it, I rolled over it. So I wasn't a litter bug. I picked it up and I brought it home and threw it away. But yeah, everybody was like, it was fine. That was okay. I worked on the scarf a little more. So I won't show you all the letters. We'll just go back to the O. There's the O. Like I said, these are 31 rows long. And I am just about done with the L. So I'm making great progress on this one. I just have to finish off the L, put the two hearts on it, and then finish it out with the dark pink. I am going to have to go into a second skein because this is all I have left of the pink. And I think this will probably be enough to finish the L and get halfway through one of the hearts. So that is being worked on it well. I was a bad girl. I was. I was a bad girl. No, I told y'all I was going to put this down for a while and I wasn't going to buy any more because I got 5 skeins in the closet. I know. But they don't generally keep this on the shelf at Walmart. It's like really hard to catch it. Hmm. So I had to get it today. I told myself, I said, look, self, let's have a talk. Get one and then get your butt up and go in the closet and get the rest of them. But only get one. Only get one because you know that you're making this blanket super big. So I only got one. I only got one. And I am debating as to whether or not I should work on this today or save it until game day tomorrow. Sounds like a winner, doesn't it? Just think some people go to school to be a designer, and all of us that crochet, knit, and sew are designers, and we didn't have to pay to do it exactly right. You are exactly right. I got this little dollar sign thing over on the corner, so it permits me from seeing all the rest of what's being said. And I don't know what happened to StreamYard. I used to be able to see the whole comment when it came up, but it's not doing that. And it used to come up on the TV. That doesn't happen anymore either. So there. So my scarf, I know that I'm going to work on it some more today. I know I am. And y'all, there's something that's in my brain. And I started on it the other day. I had gotten up to round 14 sticks in my head, but I don't remember going past 11 really. But I don't know which one it was. It was either around 11 or around 14. But it was beautiful. I had pretty much just transitioned from a circle into a square. And it was textured and it was beautiful. And my counts were wrong. It was 14 because I remember I wanted to frog it back to 12 because 11 was the round where I started making it a square. But I wanted to frog it back to 12. And I realized that my count in 12 was wrong as well. So I got frustrated. I did. I'm human. I got frustrated and I frogged the whole thing. I frogged the whole thing. And yesterday was a productive day for me. Yes, I'm going to work on that. Because I also decided the t-shirt crochet thing that they got going, fad or whatever you want to call it, going on now. I found a cami of mine that I don't really wear because it's a little too short for me and it's a little too tight for me. And I figured I would turn this into the t-shirt top, crochet top type thing. And I'm going to use this to do it. Yes, I am. I am going to clash colors because these look very pretty together. I think they complement each other so well. It's like a cool clash. It's like something in these two together just say, yeah, do it. And I'm going to do it. I am. I can't say that I'm going to get to it this week even, but this is definitely going to be a make. And I already know, how I'm going to do the sides. That's why I put the shirt in there. So I know, sorry, crinkle alert. I already know that, how I'm gonna do the sides. I know I have a hood fetish, so I know it's gonna have a hood. Can't decide if it's gonna have pockets or not. I might see what I can do. And my dear sister Joan gave me an idea yesterday. I don't know if you all remember me wearing, and I found it yesterday and dropped it. Ouch. I don't know if you all remember me wearing this top the other day. It's cute and all. It is. It really is. But my sister Joan told me about the t-shirts that she had that were turned into bags. And instantly I saw the bottom part of this being sewn together. So it would be a pretty wide bag. And I would cut it off right under the sleeves. That would be my top. And I'd crochet around the top and crochet the handles. And that would be an extra large bag. That would work really, really well. You know, because here in Virginia, we have to pay for bags, except in Walmart. In Walmart, I hope we never have to pay for bags. I keep asking them not to give me bags, which is why I make sure I have less than 15 items when I go, so I can go to the self-serve checkout and don't have to give myself bags. But I keep telling them, look, I got the scooter. Look, I got my own bag. And they will put them in the plastic bags and set them in my bag. And I'm like, we don't understand the no bag concept, do we? Now, why I said I was very productive yesterday, um, 28. You see these 28 little cakes? I did all of that yesterday. I frogged 2.5 blankets that were almost completed blankets that I knew I was not going to go back to. And 28 little cakes. I got half of another one that I have to finish, and that one's going to be finished today because I have to put that table up and out of the way. But yeah, yeah. Hello, creative girly. How are you? And welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Kitty. Yes, Kitty Lane, Kitty. Please don't call me Miss Kitty. Uh, there's no gun smoke here. There's no Festus and no Marshall Dillon and yeah, none of those guys. It's one of the reasons I spelled my name differently. But yes, I was just showing some of the things that I am working on. This blanket is mine. It is 80 inches wide. What I've used so far is 4 of the balls of mainstay chenille. It is a 6, super bulky. It calls for an 8 millimeter hook, which we know that's not what I'm using. I am using a 10 millimeter hook. Yes. And it's gorgeous. I love it. I love it. It's in Dallas Cowboy colors. So even if you're not a Dallas Cowboy fan, love me and my blanket. Guys, I heard the cutest thing today, and I have to share it with you. I was in Positively, I can't remember the rest of her title, but at any rate, she was talking about being on I call it the me scooter. She had surgery done. Hey, my Jamaican mommy, how are you? But she was talking about being on the knee scooter when she had surgery to her Achilles tendon. And she said what she likes. Welcome. Oh my goodness. It is. Okay, I can't see whether it's AM or PM, but I know you said it's 4. It's a little after 4. Is that AM or PM? It's got to be AM because I know you're more than a couple of hours from us. Yes, yes, that's what. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. You look like you're keeping my hours. My poor body doesn't know when to sleep. But positively was saying that she was on her knee scooter and she said what she likes is to give it one good push with her good leg and see how many kids she can run up. I'm so sorry that you've not been well. I really am. I will keep you in my prayers. I will. Bless your heart. But back to the things that we usually misplace. And I'm so happy I found mine. Hook has got to remain on the top of my list. I got this whole bucket that I created for, and it says a can of hooks. And for those who don't know, I took my Planters peanut cup jar, container, whatever you want to call it, and I just put white paper around it, wrote a can of hooks on it. I keep the top in case I want to do something different. And I couldn't compromise it too much because it's like a tinish cardboard or something. Anyway, when it gets wet, it'll warp and eventually it'll lose its stability. And I didn't want that to happen. So what I did was took a Lysol wipe and cleaned out the inside real good, blowing as I went. And then I took a paper towel and put a little bit of my 91% alcohol. I put that on the paper towel, trying to keep it in the center as much as possible so it wouldn't compromise the sides. And put the top on it and let it sit for a couple of hours. And then I took that out and just let it stay open for a little while. So it no longer smells like peanuts. I have no peanut crumbs in there. And I made sure it was all clean so that I could use it for my hooks. And I absolutely love that concept. But this is my problem. I have my 6.0 here. I'll let you see these as I go so you can see this. Laying over here on the bed beside me is my 6.5. And I just took out of the can my 10.0. And I have oops, wait a minute. See there? Here is my 5.0. Neither of these did I pull from the can except when I pulled the 10.0 to show you that I had it. Hence me always losing my hooks because I don't know how to put them back. And I'm going to have to create, or share the space with my needles so that I can try to keep my knitting needles all in the same place. Y'all, let me tell you something else I found out about knitting. Okay, this is acrylic. Most of the acrylic that's used here, the sapphire blue, the varsity red, the pink. Okay, yes. Those are big twists. I don't know what this denim is. I would say that it's the Just Yarn from Dollar Tree. I think that's what it is. But once you knit it up, the already softer than normal acrylic feels baby soft. Y'all, I had no idea. I had no idea. So I guess we know I can see some wearables in the future. I really can. I can def oh my goodness. Y'all. Hmm. Once I get going creative, I don't find it hard. I can't knit anywhere near as fast as I can crochet because I know part of it is that I'm so new at it. And I was telling my daughter that I felt like I was creeping, and she was no help at first. She was like, "Oh, you are." Let me tell you, give you a little heads up about me and my daughter. We're both Sagittarius, so we're kind of ruthless sometimes when we speak. It's like if it's up here, it's definitely gonna come out here. The thing of it is, the older we get, the more we learn to do that with tact. My daughter's learning that. Because normally she would have come in the room and said right away, "Why are you doing that so slow?" But this time she waited for me to say it and she just agreed to it. So it wasn't quite that bad. But I was like, "You, thanks for the vote of confidence." And she said, "No." And she broke it down. She was like, "When I watch you crochet, you're flying. And then when I watch you do this, you're thoughtful." And I was like, "Okay, okay, okay." Bless your heart. Thank you. Thank you so much. A little bit about me, creative, is that I've had some experiences in my life. Not all of them have been good. I've had some really, really bad ones. But I'm one who thinks that every experience that I've had, that I have, and that I will continue to have serves as a lesson, and I try to take the good out of even the bad situations. Like when I ran into the ice machine, when I told it to my daughter, I told her, I said, I hit the ice machine. I was going around somebody and I rammed into it. And the thing about that, it was 2 days after I got the cortisone shot in that knee. So I'm looking forward to the dancing with the grandkids and the walking more and all this good stuff, right? Only for the higher power to tell me, "Oh no, you're gonna be sitting it down." So I finally told my daughter last night, I said, "See, um, I didn't tell you exactly how I hit my knee." And she was like, "Yes, you did. You said that you hit the ice machine." I said, "Well, no, see, it wasn't quite that simple." When we start talking about the patience thing, I kind of missed that lesson on that day, and I was in a hurry to get around some people who were moving slow, and it's like the ice machine said, "Oh no, 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 no! I don't know where you think you're going because I'm not moving." Y'all, I smacked that ice machine so hard, so hard. It bruised up. It swelled up a little bit, but I kept ice on it. And after, does it still hurt? Yes. Yes, it still hurts. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this past Friday was 2 weeks ago that it happened. So, and if for it to still be hurt, yes, yes, it sure does. It certainly does. But it's okay though, because when I came past that ice machine today, where I thought my knees would never meet again while I was sitting down, y'all, I pushed this falupa up with my thighs and I put them knees together, and I was this far from the ice machine. I have much respect for the ice machine now. I really do. Yes, I certainly do. That ice machine has mad respect for me. I think I even spoke to it when I went back. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you another Walmart thing that happened recently. So my daughter had the occasion to go over there one morning a few days ago, and she was like, "Mom," because we have the senior opening with senior hour where the store opens at 7, but for us seniors and tweeners, they open at 6 so that we don't have to get caught up in the crowd. Ella, just tell them about the time. Okay, I will tell them about that after I tell them about my daughter's experience in Walmart. So she goes over to Walmart, and it's early in the morning, and she comes back home. And you have to know my daughter. She's one of those sporadically shows her craze moments. Like she'll be sitting here talking to y'all serious, and then all of a sudden she goes, "Ah," But she comes and stands in my doorway, and she like glamour styles in my doorway, and I'm like, what happened to you? Who did you meet? What's going on? And she says, Mom, I love going to the store early in the morning. I absolutely love going to the store. There is nobody there. And I'm like, girl, let me tell you, that's the best time to go. I say I be shocking the daylights out of everybody. I be scaring folks when I go. She said, Mom, I did it too. I walked over and every time I came up on somebody, I was like, good morning. How are you? You have to know where we live, because I declare when we first moved to this city 5 years ago, we were constantly telling everybody how rude and I say personally enclosed these people were. People wouldn't speak. People would walk by you with their heads down. It was not. And then they had nerve enough to be the city of the year and have a big banner to hang on one of the bridges in 2023. I'm like, where? When? What are you basing this on? It has to be financial because it's not the people. But I think the people are getting used to me now, because when I went over this morning, they weren't quite as shocked. There were a few. When I made the lady with the little boy jump, I had to I had to chuckle when I got away from it, but it wasn't funny right then. It was not to her. I don't think it was even funny when I moved away, but it was funny to me. It was, because she jumped hard. She jumped real hard. But I'm gonna tell you, it may not have been funny to her, but to her child that she was holding in her arms, that baby got a laugh. I think that baby laughed harder than I did. He laughed so hard. He was like, it's the cute. He said, it's the pretty lady. He said, it's the pretty lady on the wheels. And he just started laughing. And she was like, oh my God. All I said was good morning. And I did it out of respect to let her know I was coming up behind her. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So Marsha wants me to tell you all about this. Let me see here. That's what I love about her. Miss- And she's yes, 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 yes. So many years ago, kids were real small. We lived in this place called Fairwood Homes, affectionately known as KP. And if you know about our region, it's a swampy region. This region runs right through the Dismal Swamp. So we have everything. Okay. If you have any kind of cracks and crevices in your house, beetles, um, anytime it rains, you're going to get the water bugs. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm in Florida when it rains. Doesn't matter how airtight you keep your house. If you open the door, they're sitting at the door like, let me in, let me in. And as soon as you crack your door, you're going to get at least one. So back at this place, right behind our house was a field. We had just come off of it raining. We had a bunch of the little bitty babies to come through. And I had just made this ammonia and water. Yeah, ammonia and water concoction. So I go along the back door and I'm spraying, and they're dropping like flies. They're no longer. I'm like, I don't have to buy Raid anymore. I'm so happy. I can use ammonia and water. Y'all, I went in the kitchen at a different time and I saw one on the wall above the stove. So I got ammonia and water. I'm marching out to the living room. I grab my ammonia water and I start spraying this water bug on the wall. Y'all, I did not know. And I don't know why y'all didn't tell me that they fly. Y'all, I turned around and I looked like Flojo trying to get out that kitchen. Problem. We had just moved in. The kitchen floor was not finished. There was still some nail heads sticking up out the floor. I snagged my little toe on the left foot, on one of those nails, hit the floor hard and slid into the door jamb with this shoulder because I moved my head out of the way. Jumped up, finished running into my room, hit my bed, and I'm holding my shoulder. Ah, and all of a sudden I got a pain in my toe like you would not believe. Made the pain in my shoulder go completely away. And when I looked down and told y'all, only my skin and a tendon was holding my toe on. That's all it was. I still have my toe. I do. I still have my toe and I can still feel it and it still works. But y'all, if you've never seen anybody run from a bug, I showed you that day. And I'm going to tell you why I was so afraid of it, other than the fact that it flew. I referenced Florida because when I was 13 years old, 13, my grandmother and I took the train down to right outside of Jacksonville, Florida, a little spot called Orange Park, which is where my aunt, uncle, and cousin lived. My cousin and I had just gotten into this. We had been beefing for like a week, as to who was going to sleep on the bed that night, who was going to sleep on the floor. And, we're kids. We're down in Florida. It's a carpeted floor. The whole place was carpeted, even the bathrooms. So we're beefing about everything. Who's going to hug grandma? Who's going to give her a kiss first? Who's going to take her meal? Just crazy kid things. He was 10. I was 13. He got mad at me. I was standing behind him in the den. And back then we had real fake toys. He had the little cat pistol. They used to be metal with the little plastic handle, the little white plastic handle. But he gets mad and he throws that into my stomach. I didn't have a big belly then. I was 13. I was 13, but I looked like a dime. So he throws it in my stomach. And even still, with the force that he used, it bounced off my stomach and it hit him in the back of the head. And he thought that I had thrown it back and hit him in the head with it. And he got up and marched to the kitchen right away. I guess he was sick of arguing because he got the biggest utensil with a handle and blade that he could find. And he came after your girl. Well, in the guest bedroom, which was the sewing room, because my aunt is a seamstress, there was a Chester drawer in the closet. Y'all, I lie not to you. There was about this much space behind the Chester drawer. Ask me how. All of me, I've never been skinny. I was much smaller, but I was chubby. Ask me how all of me got behind that Chester drawer, and I will tell you that it was fear. Fear will make your body contort and do things that you never thought you could do. Just like fear made me run from that flying water bug, fear made me squeeze behind that Chester drawer. Now, this was where I was first introduced to water bugs. And like I told you, this was Florida. Y'all can't tell me that bug that crawled in that closet was not 2 feet long. I had never okay, well, maybe a foot. What I'm saying, he was huge. He was huge. And I was like, do I want to face this weapon outside of this closet, or do I stay in here with this crawling thing? I didn't know what to do, y'all. All I could do was stand there and cry. All I could do was stand there and cry and pray that this six-legged thing would not come anywhere else near me, because it was bad enough that he was in the closet already. Your girl was crying. I mean, and I had to do the silent cry because my cousin couldn't find me. He didn't know where I was. And I knew if I cried out loud, he was gonna find me. He was gonna find me. Y'all, who no, I'm not talking about a centipede. I'm talking about a water bug. But he was huge. He was huge. It was the first time I had ever seen one in my life. 13 years old down in Florida, I got introduced to a water bug. And see, down in Florida, Florida is the mini version of Texas. Everything comes big down there. I think it's a southern thing. I really do. I say that to you as a child that was raised in Wilson, North Carolina. We do it big in the South. They do it bigger way down South. Yes, they do. The accents are thicker. Yes, the rudeness is more prevalent. It rains every day. Yes. This was over the summer when this happened. And the other thing that happened that same summer, like I said, I've never been skinny. I was smaller and I was very athletic. So my uncle, my cousin, and I go out to play basketball at the school. And we're out here just playing, running in the sand to get the basketball when it goes off the court and everything. And just before we left the house, I ate a nectarine. Well, the nectarine was in the bowl with the peaches. But the nectarine was in the bowl with the peaches. And I love the nectarine because it didn't have, we had a peach tree in our backyard. I was used to the fuzzy stuff, but I was amazed by this thing that looked just like a peach, but it had an apple type feel on the outside of it. There was no fur. So I'm eating the nectarine and we go head on. And I started itching while we were on the basketball court. So my uncle was like, well, it's starting to get dark anyway. Let's go back home. I go in the bathroom to take a shower and I'm noticing my lips are swollen. So I go from this to like, and I thought it strange, but I figured once I took my shower, I was going to be better. No. Y'all, when I got out the shower, I don't know how many of you remember the Andy Cap cartoon. Whenever Andy Cap had a little bit too much spirits, his lips would look like that. That's how my lips looked by the time I got out the shower, y'all. My whole face was swollen. My fingers were swollen. My body was swollen. I had a pair of screwdriver. Remember the screwdriver jeans that had the little latches on them and the zippers and the mini pockets? Oh, yeah, I had those on. And they were too big for me until that night. They were too small. My aunt immediately takes me to the hospital. They give me a shot of antihistamine. They didn't even call it Benadryl back then. I don't think they knew what Benadryl was. But they gave me a shot of antihistamine, and we came back home, and that antihistamine did something to me that had never been done to me before. And I was walking through the house like I was truly handicapped. I looked like I had been filled with spirits. I'm just, So I went in the room and went to sleep, and I get up because I'm hungry. And my aunt says, well, and she was laughing at me, y'all. My auntie was laughing at me. So I get up and I go in the kitchen and I'm getting the food out. And I sat right on the other side of the kitchen door was the dining/living room. Y'all, I sat in the floor in the dining room just outside the kitchen. And I had my plate in my hand and my fork in my hand. Hadn't put a lick of food. I'm so out of it. I'm eating air. My aunt laughed at me so hard, and I was so mad at her. I stayed mad with her for years for that. You don't laugh at nobody in a condition like that. No. But I laugh at me now. I do. I think it's real funny and I think it's real cute. But I have had some experiences. I have. I really have. I one crochet experience that I had. I was married. It was my first marriage. And I was on I think I was on a hat roll, if I'm not mistaken. It's like every other week, whatever roll I was on would change. And I'm just crocheting. I'm sitting on the couch, crocheting, just crocheting, just crocheting. And I got sleepy. And when I came to my senses, I realized that I had made a hat this big. I don't know who I was making the hat for. I have no idea who in my sleepy brain I was making that hat for because I don't know anybody. I know absolutely nobody with a head that size. No, I don't. But I made that hat. It was ready for them. It really was. So we know that creative is from Australia. Y'all know that I live in Hampton, Virginia. Where are you all from? So that everybody knows how many of us are here and where we're from. I've been here in Hampton for 5 years. Before then, I was in Portsmouth. Um, People talk about Portsmouth like it's bad. It really isn't. Um, Portsmouth does get a bad rap, and usually because they have a high crime rate. But when you go back and you look at it, and you realize that most of the crime happens from people who don't live there. So it's outsiders bringing that into the city. And because the people in Portsmouth, somehow we all become family, whether we know each other or not. And we all look out for each other like we're family. That was one of the coolest things that I liked about Portsmouth. It didn't matter who you were, it didn't matter where you were. The men over there do not allow other people to disrespect women. The women over there don't allow people to just downright bash men. It's like, hold up, wait a minute, wait a minute. Just because the folks do this doesn't mean everybody. You don't know this person and that person and blase, blase, and so forth and so on. So we got real protective over people in our city. And I like that about us. Now, how do I feel about Virginia? Oh, I really care for Virginia. Yeah. Virginia is not my cup of tea. Coming from North Carolina, it really isn't. I don't find, I know that this is a transient area because I'm surrounded by military. And so I give them that excuse. They're not very friendly, generally speaking. And I was raised a certain way. I was raised with manners. We speak. And one thing you can't get a lot of people here to understand is speaking is not invading someone's privacy. It is simply acknowledging the fact that I'm here and you're there. And, we know that we are sharing the space at the moment. Other than that, it's just a greeting. It's just a reaching out and greeting to someone. When you speak to someone, when you're right there on them, it's just an acknowledgement. And people around here act like you're dismembering them or something. It's like, hi, how you doing? Me? What? Huh? Y'all, if y'all were to watch me knit, now granted, I don't go quite as fast with the thick yarn as I normally do, but with the knitting, I'm about 20 times slower. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many stitches I've done since I've been here, but I guarantee you it probably would have only been about 3 or 4 with the knitting. So I did tell you that I went to the store twice this morning. I did. And it was nice and sunny. And just before I got here to go live, I was getting ready to close my blinds a little bit because the sun completely washes everything out. And when I looked out there, it was pouring down rain. I'm like, what happened to this morning? Oh my goodness. But one thing I can say about Hampton Roads, if you want eclectic weather, come to VA for a day. I remember back in the 90s when my kids were in elementary school, I sent the kids off to school that day. They had on t-shirts, and I think my daughter had on shorts. My son had on, they were a pair of athletic pants, but they were, thinner pants. And no jackets, no nothing. It was 80 degrees when they left the house. What generally happens about 4 hours after they leave the house? It's the hottest part of the day. So if it's already 80 degrees, you can expect it to be, I'll say, between 84 and 88 by the time they got out of school, which was like right around 3 o'clock. No. When they got out of school, it was 3 inches of snow on the ground. I lie not to you. I lie not to you. It was a shock to everybody. I mean, we got neighbors looking out the door. We asking each other what we already know. Is that snow? you know, you washed your clothes and hung them out on the line this morning, and you go back to check on them, and your shirts that usually look like this on the line are like this. And you're wondering what happened and when. Oh my goodness. When you talk about a temperature drop and snow, and I mean the snow stuck. So it had to be at least 32 degrees. But what no one could understand was that, and what we later learned was that the ground was still warm, but all it did was made for an icy situation because as hard and fast as the snow was coming down, it was hitting the ground, and it was so much snow that it was liquefying on the bottom and cooling the ground down, eventually turning it to ice. And I mean, it was sheer ice. Yes. Between our house and the school was a ditch. I don't know how many cars they pulled out that ditch that week. It was quite a few. Yep, it was quite a few. Guys, as usual, I have had a blast with you all. I did manage to pull out some more of my browns. And those of you who know that I am really, really kind of focused on this Frappuccino blanket. So I can't say exactly when I'm going to start it. I am still getting my browns together, and I'm getting the picture drawn up. Every time I draw one, it's not giving me quite what I want. I keep trying to put ice cubes in it. I don't want an iced coffee look. I want a frappuccino look, which means that it would be smooth. It's more like a smoothie type thing. And I need to break my mind out of that ice thing and just focus on the cup and the different colors. And it's got to be a clear plastic cup because you got to see the color of the frappuccino. You have to. So, Joan, I know. Yep, I got a yarn baby here. I do. But it's nothing like that other one. The other one was like a third of my skein of yarn. I know we should, you know what? That's partially true because we shut down with the mention of snow. And what's sad is down in Carolina, they don't even do that. Granted, it snows less down there than it does up here, but when you talk about snow in Carolina, it's like, okay, bring it on, and the schools will stay open. And I guess it's because, and they are more of a risk than we are here. It's like, well, some of the roads are not such that the buses are safe going down those roads. But I'm like, back in Hickville, where I'm from, they still got dirt roads. Maybe not now, but back then they did. And the buses were trusted to go back there. What is wrong with people here? Because they can't drive in Virginia. They can't. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. Ask me about the accident that I had in, what was it, 2022? Yeah. Yeah. I was driving across the street to Joanne's. My light was green because the van next to me, I knew he wanted to race. He was turning left and I was going straight. And I made him feel like I was going to race him. He raced his engine, I raced mine. And I took off at a normal rate of speed when he went flying around the corner. But the man coming up from my right, I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or what, but he ran dead smack into the back of my car, running a red light. Spun me completely around. And when I tell you I had to be in God's hands that day because the way we spun out, the front end of my car should have smacked the car that I was normally facing at the light. But for some reason, it pulled back just enough that I swung past her. And when I hit the curb, instead of jumping the curb, everything stopped. Everything stopped. And my biggest fear, I had placed a curbside order at Joanne's. So I had on the nightgown and everything. Yes, I was truly dressed for relaxation, but I had my grandbabies with me, and that was my biggest fear. Oh my God, my heart dropped. My heart completely dropped, and I just wanted to know if my babies were okay, and then it was a matter of calling their mom and my other daughter to let them know what had happened. Yeah. And when the police were called, they almost really didn't need to be called because right across the street from where the accident happened was an Olive Garden, and there was a police officer coming out the door. So he saw it when it happened. Yeah. And when he went over to talk to the man that had run the light, he was like, just to let you know, I saw the whole thing, but give me your version of what happened. It was like he was saying to him, don't try to make anything up. you know, the man was very open, straightforward and honest. And yeah, nothing turned out to be really bad except I was without my car for 6 months. 6 months. I was kind of upset with the insurance because they wouldn't total the car and it met the criteria for it being totaled. But they didn't. That was then, this is now. We're all fine. So, guys, we are coming up on that 1 hour. And I have to say, as I always say, that I appreciate you all so much. I really, really, really do. I've had a lot of fun today. I really wanted it to be kind of a laid back day because we all push so hard all the time. And y'all keep, please, and I know you might get mad at me, Joan, but you're just going to have to be mad at me today. Please keep my sister Joan in your prayers and, send her good juju and good healing words and everything. She's going through an issue right now. And we just want to keep her lifted up and let her know that she is in our happy thoughts. And I don't know where my enable lister is, but Michelle, if you're out there listening, hey, enable lister, I love you. And I'm missing Sam today. But it's okay. It's okay. I do want to say to everybody, please don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please do. Thank you for Creative for subscribing. I appreciate that so much. Make sure when you do subscribe, please, 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 when you see that notification bell, hit the one with the dimples so that you always know when I'm dropping fresh new content. Okay? Thank you again, guys. Always remember to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.